I go up 2 strokes.
I love 2 strokes. I got 2 of them. Yeah. I don't ride them anymore. Yeah, I love those. You got them.
So I posted a shout out on Facebook. I said, quote, "The farmers deliver the food on the rich and middle class people's tables, but the farmers don't have enough food for themselves. The landlords collect their crops in harvest seasons, but the farmers have nothing to collect for themselves. Social injustice is truly what the farmers plant in the land of the oppressed." Unquote. Mark Nowerman. I was once a hypocrite. I had all these luxuries in life while many of my fellow countrymen suffer in oppression. I was once brainwashed by greed in capitalism, and I truly regret it. And then Chito posted a comment. "Socialism is a philosophy of failure, the creed of ignorance and gospel of envy. Its inherent virtue is equal sharing of misery," by Winston Churchill. "The problem with socialism is you will eventually run out of other people's money," by Margaret Thatcher. And then a reply from I. Quotes from former prime ministers of UK, the elites of the elites, the kings of the kings. Did they even experience hunger? And then a reply from Chito. "It does not matter where you came from. It only matters if what they say is true." And then a reply from I. "You gave the best example, Chito, just to let you know. The British Empire enslaved millions of people from and in the third world countries. Colonization is one of the worst things that happened to mankind. Even the founding fathers of the United States revolted against the British Empire. An American Revolution was born for liberty. Chito, to fight poverty, we must truly understand the roots of it. To fight poverty, we must truly understand the history of it. History is one of the answers to fight ignorance. Chito, capitalism is a competition. The winner takes advantage of the weakness, disadvantage, and loss of the others." And then Pedro posted a comment. "Chito, look at the definition of internal colonialism. That's what's happening here in the United States. The best example of internal colonialism is Obamacare." And then a reply from I. "Oh man, I hate that Obamacare. Forcing someone to buy something that he/she does not want is unconstitutional. The people who voted for Obama, I wonder how they think and feel now. Obama has done nothing, to be quite frankly. Where are the jobs that's supposed to be for the American citizens? Nada. Their jobs are in the third world countries for cheap labor. Capitalism is designed not for the good sake of the people, but for greed and oppression." And then a reply from Chito. "Obama is just a trying hard socialist." And then my reply. "Oh, believe me, Chito, Obama is not a socialist, nor have a mentality of a socialist. He is nothing but a corporate puppet. If you don't like it here in the United States, then leave. Don't let the door hit you in the ASS. Chito, that's a strawman attack. To those people who like socialism, leave. Leave the country now. And then my reply, another strawman attack, Chito. Chito, I guess you are not aware that there are socialist political parties here in the United States. Socialism has never worked and it will never will. And then my reply, based on what? I have been to Cuba and learned a lot about how socialism works. Capitalism only works for the people who benefit from it. Not everyone benefit from capitalism, Chito. Majority of the population on earth are being oppressed by the ideology of capitalism. I had one motorcycle in the PI in the Philippines, 100cc. Now I have 5 cars and 40 motorcycles. I earned it all here. My reply? Well, you can also have a better opportunity in life in other countries, Chito. Just to let you know, middle class and rich people cannot only be found in the United States. Jesus Christ said, the poor will always be among us. And then my reply, that's what the corporate bosses really want. Chito, did you know that the oppressed countries in Latin America, Africa, and Asia are the countries that feed the people in the first world countries? Did you know that the United States of America will not survive without the third world countries? And then I posted a shout out about this film, about the Motorcycle Diaries. And then Chito posted a comment, the guy's a murderer. No, not the guy in the movie, but Che Guevara. My reply, a murderer? Who did he murder, Chito? I guess the information you knew about him came from CBS too. Western corporate media owned by the wealthy Jews brainwashing the American people. How about the Americans, Chito? Did they not murder millions of native Indians? The Spanish conquistadors, did they not murder more than 10 million Mayans? Under McKinley and Roosevelt, didn't the American soldiers murdered more than 1 million Filipinos? Most of died because they had no immune defenses to the diseases that the white people carried on themselves. My reply, chickenpox was intentionally brought by the conquistadors to spread to the population. Terrible, isn't it? Talking about biological warfare. Oh, el terrible. I'm sorry to say, everything you have learned is communist propaganda. And then my reply, Chito, there is a difference between taught by the fools versus learned by the truth. But you know, it's a very broad topic. Everyone has different perspectives, opinions, point of views, etc., etc. In 1900s, just after the Spanish-American War, the Philippines was bought by the Americans for $20 million US. My reply, can you imagine a country that is bought? What a terrible fact of history. Is there a Filipino who is willing to sell his/her motherland to foreigners? Oh yeah, there's a lot. And there is no question about it. Sad, isn't it? The Filipinos revolted and 600,000 people were killed. And then my reply, no, Chito. The Filipinos fought for freedom. For freedom. Revolted? Revolted is not the right word/term to use, my friend. The Filipinos did fight for independence from the Spanish overlords. After a few months of freedom, the Americans started to show their true intentions. Think again, Chito. Is the word/term revolted Right to use? The way you said it, as if the Filipinos already accepted a fact that the Philippines was already owned by the imperialist Americans in 1898, and then the population revolted. No, 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 Chito. This was war and people die in wars. My reply? That is why the side of Fidel Castro ordered the executions of some enemies. People die during war times. Very true. If I was in his shoes, I would have done the same thing, Chito. Wasn't the famous Queen Marie Antoinette guillotined by the French revolutionaries? Che Guevara personally killed 10 people and ordered more by the hundreds. My reply? The word/term personally is not appropriate to use, my friend. As if he had personal hate to this/that person and he took his pistol and shot him/her in the head. Che Guevara did not kill someone out of hatred/insanity or whatsoever. But he ordered more by the hundreds to be killed. My reply? It's just a wrong assumption, Chito. I live in the modern times and was already living in Che Guevara's time. I know what he has done is wrong. My reply? I don't know what exactly you are referring to, Chito. But the way I see it, you don't see the good things that he had done for humanity. I feel sorry for your children. My reply? Now that's a personal attack, my friend. Let's keep this a very good and educational brainstorming. I don't want to go down to a strawman argumentation. You believe in too many conspiracies. Everything you know are just liberal lies. Movies are not historical data. They're just movies. My reply? Just because I posted a link about this movie means I believe everything what I see in all the movies I watch? Come on now. Don't listen and read the liberal hate media. My reply? Wrong assumption of yours. I do not read nor pay attention to wrong/misleading information, Chito. There is a difference between taught by the fools versus learned by the truth. I don't have a chip on my shoulder. I do not look for conspiracies on every corner. My reply? Well, most Americans do not have reason nor the capability to look for internal and external conspiracies. Capitalism have endured the population as the population endured capitalism, Chito. The nicest people I know are the white Republicans, and that's why my experience and you can't tell me if they're fooling me because they are in my life every day. My reply? Oh, no question about it, Chito. I believe you. Why would you even hang out with nasty/mean people? You are just a regular guy who lives a normal life. The heck, even the dirty politicians all over the world are nice to their friends and families. The meanest people I know are the liberals and socialist people. I know because I work with them every day. My reply? Meanest in what way? Are they mean to all the people around them? Are they mean in everything and to everybody? Well, every one of us on this planet has different characters, Chito. I will not jump to a conclusion about the mean people who you work with every day. Liberals and socialists think they are better than you, so they have to tell you how to live your life. My reply? Chito, it's just a wrong assumption of yours. Okay? Are you a Republican, Chito? If you are a Republican, I do apologize if I offended you. P.S. I will tell you what the true Republicans in Congress and Senate think, Chito. They often think about how they can be more wealthy in terms of political power/grab and buy having enormous dollars in their bank accounts. Are you familiar with the term sweet-coated bullet? Former Presidents Bush and Bush Sr. were very successful during their presidencies. Do you remember the invasion of Panama and Iraq? Invasion for what, Chito? The United Nations even condemned the US invasion of Panama. Chito, war is huge. I mean, huge business. And I am sure that you understand what I am talking about. Making money off of war is not the goal, it is the consequences. My reply, oh, you mean the spoils of war? Chito, if you will conduct a deeper research, you will be surprised of the horrors of wars that the US government brought to the local population of the countries they invaded. Again, making money off of war is not the goal. It is just the consequences. The goals of the US wars are all noble. Some people just to happen to make money off it. And then my reply, Chito, as if saying that the Roman Empire launched their expansion/conquest for the good sake of the people. Think again, my friend. So let me ask you this. Did they ever find weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? Why did Bush Sr. invaded Panama? For the good sake of the Americans or because the corporate bosses make trillions of dollars out of the Panama Canal? Why did the US invaded the Philippines, Cuba, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, etc. in the late 1800s? It's because of expanding the territories and making colonies, my friend. The more richer/wealthier the country becomes, the more demands are needed to be fed. The same reason why China is grabbing sea and land territories in Southeast Asia today. If the people of this country, if all the Americans will have the guts, we can finish all these stupid wars. My reply? There is no stupid war, Chito. The American government got involved in so many wars because of various reasons. Perhaps for the freedom in the eyes of the brainwashed citizens, wealth in oil for the Bush family, expanding the corporations for the wealthy and greedy corporate bosses, etc., etc., etc. There is no stupid war, Chito. To me, any advance of communism and Islamofascism must be stopped at all costs. We will have a better world if we only finish the wars they have started. My reply? Well, you have to look at the whole picture, Chito. Based on my observation, you just see the side of the Republican politicians. Not everyone benefit from capitalism, Chito. Did you know that 70% of the population on Earth are in poverty? Only 30% eat and live well. Capitalism will not survive without the people who are being oppressed by its ideology, Chito. You are talking on behalf of the people in the United States because you are one of them. Not everyone had the opportunity that you had by coming here, Chito. Not everyone has 40 motorcycles and 5 cars like you have, Chito. America is not a country but a giant corporation. People here have no representation, Chito. America is all about business and not for the good sake of its citizens. Everything you have answered me about my observation are canned propaganda, answers which I have heard for the past 30 years. My reply? So, people who don't reach the age of 30 by working in mines owned by the US companies is just a propaganda? US company owners who bring the labor overseas for cheap wages is just a propaganda? Millions of Americans lost their jobs because of outsourcing is just a propaganda? Thousands of Ecuadorians got sick and died because of cancer caused by the toxic waste dumped by Chevron. It's just a propaganda? Thousands of Filipinos in Angeles, Pampanga got severely sick due to the toxic waste dumped by the US Navy. It's just a propaganda? Latin America became even more poorer because of the North American Free Trade Agreement or NAFTA. The local farmers could not compete with the giant corporations like Dole, US Foods, etc. Those giant companies monopolize the agricultural sector in Latin America. Is that just a propaganda, Chito? Again, Chito, you have to get out of the box and look at the whole picture. All I know is that socialism and communism has not worked and never will. My reply? I have been to Cuba. I learned a lot when I was there. I saw how socialism works in Cuba. Yes, the Cubans do not have the material luxuries that we have in the United States. But you know what? They live a happy, simple, and peaceful life. Did you know, Chito, that the people in Eastern Europe had better lives during the communism period than what they have today? Women had equal salary with men. People had better jobs and employment rate was the highest in the world. Today, young girls in Eastern Europe are being kidnapped/abducted to become sex workers. Where do they bring the girls? In countries in Western Europe. Illegal syndicates are protected by corrupt government officials. Yes, communism in Europe collapsed, but it's a different story. But still, I'm gonna tell you, the goals of the US wars are all noble. Some people just happen to make money off of it. My reply? Are you sure about that, Chito? Did you know that the war in Iraq in early to mid-2000 was the most profitable in the history of US warfare? Do you have any clue how much taxpayers' money were spent paying civilian/private contractors? Have you heard of Parsons Construction Firm? Have you heard of Blackwater Security? If someone would say that former President Bush, his generals, and others in the Senate and Congress did not make huge money for themselves out of the war in Iraq, then he/she is blind of the truth. President Bush said that Saddam Hussein is creating weapons of mass destruction. Let me ask you this, Chito. Did they ever find weapons of mass destruction? The Bush administration lied. They used the 9/11 attacks as an excuse to invade Iraq. By the way, Chito, did you know that Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden used to work for the CIA? When Saddam rose to power and nationalized the oil industry, the American government got pissed and finally had the chance to eliminate him in 2006. The American foreign policies are biased, Chito. If the leaders of the other countries do not comply with the US foreign policies, they suffer the consequences. The best example is General Noriega of Panama, my friend. Chito, most people are ignorant about the true system of society, and that's what the governments in various nations really want. They want to control the population. You hate this country so much. My reply? Well, it's just an assumption of yours. I never said that I hate the United States. Well, just because I conduct investigative journalism and shout out the truth doesn't mean that I have hatred towards this country. I may or may not like/hate the United States, But you don't know what exactly is in my heart and mind. So please, don't make a wrong assumption, my friend. I feel sorry for you. I cannot survive in a world where you think everything is a conspiracy. My reply, oh, don't be, please. Feel sorry for the people who know nothing about the hard rock rotten issues in the society. Don't feel sorry for me, my friend. There's a difference between a paranoid thinker versus an intelligent thinker, my friend. I hope you leave soon because you hate this country so much. If I can only trade you with one of my very poor friends in the Philippines, I would. My reply, I just want to remind you that we are not kids in high school, my friend. 90% of the press is against Bush and they did not find anything. If 90% cannot find it, I'm sure that you know it's untrue. My reply, 90% of the media? Come on now. Chito, I guess you don't understand that the Western corporate media and the US government are very good tandem of hiding the truth from the public. Chito, did you know that the owner of NBC, CNBC, MSNBC is General Electric? Did you know that General Electric donated more than $1 million for the Bush 2000 presidential campaign? Did you know that Time Warner donated $1.6 million to the Bush presidential campaign in year 2000? I hope you get the picture, Chito. You cannot change my mind, and I cannot change your mind. Let's just discuss this after or further in 10 years. My reply, I have no intention to change your mind. Yeah, you know what? I think it's better to end this thread. I get nothing from you, but it's just liberal lies. It's a communist propaganda. I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for your children. Blah, 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 etc., etc. You're paranoid. I'm sorry. I really want this not to be personal. But most of what you believe is just liberal lies. And yes, if you really follow how the news people report, they are 90% leftist. If you don't see it, you're just fooling yourself. Okay, Chito. Whatever you say. No worries. Nothing personal. I enjoyed brainstorming with you. Thank you. People in the Western world who grew up in the ideology of capitalism have misconception of how the economic and political systems run in the world we live in. They think that if you are dismayed, discontent, or do not believe in the ideology of capitalism, then you should isolate yourself from the rest of the world and consider yourself a terrorist. It's a Stone Age and stereotype of thinking, folks. A socialist country like Sweden, for instance, do businesses, commerce, and trades. Socialist countries do businesses with other countries, ladies and gentlemen. Economy is a way of life for everyone. The issue is not economy, of course, but the balance of wealth and power between the rich and the poor. It's about monopolization, imperialism, and exploitation. When someone hears about socialism, perhaps he/she thinks about North Korea. Please do not mix totalitarianism with socialism. A totalitarian government is a different issue, my friend. I was born and grew up in a country where the government is a US puppet. I saw how the poor are getting poorer and poorer each day because of exploitation and oppression by the wealthy. Only few people in our motherland are living a good life. Majority of the population are in severe poverty. Only few people benefit from capitalism, folks. Remember this, capitalism will not survive without the exploited and the oppressed. The only way to fight injustices and inequality is to incinerate the rotten system that we have long endured in our lives.